Greetings to all our listeners across the region and beyond. My name is Sharon Kavu. Welcome to our SASSCAL podcast. I am your host. Today we're going to talk about WeMAST project and how it has been going. Last week we spoke about the Earth observation, the essence of Earth observation, data access with Dr. Dube. But today we're going to be talking about the overall of the project WeMAST, how it began, how long it is, and the plans, the work plans that are ahead. And we are joined in the studio by Dr. Tacheba, who is the WeMAST technical coordinator and is also the SASSCAL Director of Science and Technology. Welcome, Dr. Tacheba.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for having me.
It is a pleasure.
And, greetings to your listeners.
Thank you so much. Well, as we talk about the WeMAST, may you tell us what WeMAST is? What is the duration of the project? What are the implementation actions?
Right. Thank you very much. The Global Monitoring for Environment and Security, which is the African Union Commission's initiative with the European Union, gave birth to the program on global monitoring for environment and security, including a number of specific focus areas, of which the Wetlands Monitoring Service for Transboundary River Basins is one of those. Under WeMAST, we are specifically looking at wetland monitoring in the context of natural resources, mainly in the inland wetland bodies, as compared to coastal or marine areas, which is also being implemented by another consortium, still under the African Union Commission's GMES programs. Yeah. So the wetland monitoring service was initially conceptualized under the first phase, which took place, I think, around 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. It was born out of the realization of the need to bring spatial technologies or geospatial analysis to providing information and data that can be utilized by decision makers to make appropriate and timely decision on issues of wetlands management in the Southern Africa region. So the main focus of the first phase of WeMAST was essentially to develop what is commonly referred to as a geoportal, where information can be disseminated to specific users for them to be able to use the data and the information to make decisions. All right.
So how long is this WeMAST project?
Right. So now we are in phase 2. Phase 2 is essentially implemented over a period of about 3 years, ending in 2025. Yeah. So the idea was around WeMAST 2 is essentially to say now that during phase 1, we have been able to develop a geoportal. The second phase is looking at upscaling the very same geoportal. Now, in the process of upscaling the geoportal, you are talking about ingestion of new data sets, which are mainly accessed through the partnership between AUC and the European Union, through the Joint Research Center. These are satellite images that are coming in through the Copernicus and the Sentinel data sets. Basically to ensure that we incorporate high resolution satellite imagery in wetland monitoring in the Southern Africa sub-region.
We understand that WeMAST also has funders, like you mentioned, Africa, the European Union, the African Union, and we also have technical partners that are partnering with SASSCAL in the implementation of this project. Can you tell us who are the technical partners and what are they responsible for? What are their roles in this project?
Yes, so as I said, the whole framework is centered around what is called a consortium. Even from the initial proposal that was developed for WeMAST to the African Union Commission, it spoke about a structure that involved different partners that includes your policymakers, your academic sector, as well as the key wetlands custodians, in this case being the River Basin Commissions. So at the conceptualizations of WeMAST, a consortium was constituted under the proposal that was written, which includes 6 partners, which also includes 4 stakeholders, 4 key stakeholders, if I put it like that. And the 6 technical partners are mainly institutions of higher learning or research institutes, and I'll get into those. There was also provision for a private sector contract, and this is dedicated, I would say it's like a turnkey solution provider who is basically essentially responsible for the development of the technical geoportal that is now going to be utilized for accessing and the dissemination of the data and the information being generated. So from the partnership, we have got the University of Western Cape in South Africa, we have got the University of Zambia, we have got the University of Namibia, we have got Midlands State University, the National Remote Sensing Center in Zambia. Yeah. And then as a further way of showing our affiliation for the water sector, we have a strategic MOU with the SADC WaterNet, who are basically a strategic partner in the sense that issues of water pretty much cuts across from a policy-making perspective, including from a spatial analysis perspective. The private sector involved in the project is a company based out of Kenya called Located, who were also involved during the first phase of WeMAST, and they were also the responsible parties for the development of the first or the original geoportal.
These people are coming from different sectors. Some are academic, some are more to the research side, like Locate IT, more to the information technology side of it. Well, how has it been coordinating all of these people coming from different countries, different area of specialties? Can you just tell us how it has been?
Yes, so I think, as you understand, SASSCAL mainly concerns itself with issues around climate change, and in our process of delivering on that bigger mandate, we mainly deal with research, we deal with capacity development, we also deal with products and services development. So the context of the WeMAST is to ensure that we're incorporating all these 3 facets of SASSCAL, which speak to a key thematic area under SASSCAL, which is water or wetlands management. So in this particular case, the implementation of the program leveraged more on the academic institutions towards ensuring that over and above the implementation of the WeMAST projects, there's development of the right capacity or capacity building in the specific geoinformation and geospatial technologies within the student population, but also at stakeholder engagements level, that they have some kind of affinity for the utilization of Earth observation in the monitoring of wetlands. So that's essentially how the academic institutions came along. I've already explained how the WaterNet comes in. WaterNet is really, applies itself in terms of the state of wetlands management in the region. So they are quite key, and they are also quite strategically placed insofar as SADC is concerned, as one of their centers of excellence. Then obviously the private sector, as I said, it's a turnkey project provider. They came in specifically to develop the geoportal. Now, what is interesting and what links the whole thing is that part of development of the geoportal means that it has to be validated on the ground based on in situ, or what is called location-based information. Because what you essentially want to do at the end of the day is inform people about use of Earth observation based on something that they can speak to and understand.
Yeah.
So the in situ validation and the in situ data collection is leveraged more on the academic institutions, in that they collect the right kind of data on the ground, which then would be utilized or infused in the development of the geoportal and its services.
You spoke of the phase 1, phase 2, and what are the plans for the WeMAST phase 3?
Yes. So, because so far I can confidently say that the enhanced geoportal is now on offering. It's been packaged. We are basically in the last phases of its cleanup in terms of its user interface.
Yes.
And then during the weeks of, I think August, September, we should be able to do the last training through Located for IT personnel, but also on the ground user training and familiarization with some of the key applications, including the mobile application, which will then be used by the users to collect data on the ground, and also to be able to have some kind of testimonies in terms of the uptake and the utilization of the geoportal. The bigger impact that we see is that the communities of which WeMAST will serve will not end with the just once-off training. It's basically to build that capacity within the users so that they can be able to have an interaction with the geoportal and give feedback. That way the interaction leads to making the geoportal more accurate and creating the relevant picture. So going forward, our anticipation is that we shall build into the WeMAST 2 geoportal development of additional services, which will then be built into and familiarized more with the users in the Cuvelai, the Limpopo, the Zambezi, as well as the Okavango, where we anticipate that the biggest pool of humans, sort of regional populations reside, and they use the resources within those wetlands. So it's really to allow them to effectively and efficiently use their natural resources.
Okay, thank you so much for the well-detailed structures in the plans for the WeMAST project. Thank you so much for your time, also with sharing with us in the studio, and to all our listeners. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to hear from you. If you have any follow-up questions regarding the discussion, please feel free to inbox us on our social media platforms so that we get back to you in the next episodes and clarify things that you want to understand. And Dr. Tacheba, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us, and bye for now.
Thank you very much, and bye to the listeners.